Figuring Shit Out, episode 47. We back.
That's what's up.
3, 2, 3 from finishing out season 2. 47 of these motherfuckers.
Been a long, good road too, Frank. Yeah, man. How you doing over there?
I'm doing good, bro. So check this out. My
What's
websites got hacked. So I would tell you to go see them. But they're down at the moment. But that's them there if you want to see them. Eventually I'll get them back.
This is the first time it happened, Frank?
It happens to the extent that I lost them. Like if you go to it, it says exit. Yeah, they're fucking done. I might have to just redo the whole thing. But Bunny Flocks, yeah, I know it's horrible. Bunny Flocks in the building. We got King Arthur. What's going on, bro?
Y'all know what time it is, man. Unify and Thrive. Goddamn, 2020 Facebook outside. The spring, the summer, man, about to get busy. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Boom. And our guest,
what's up?
Back again. You seen her last season. She was like episode 4 or 5 or something, way back, almost a year ago, probably about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
We got Shanise back. Mom,
what's good? How are y'all?
What's going on? Glad to have you back. How you been? Any updates?
Pretty much. Yes, for sure. With the daycare, still going. September this year will be 3 years that I've been in business.
Dope.
And I went ahead, even though I wasn't required to have a state license to operate my childcare because it was in-home.
Right.
I could have gotten it, and I didn't, but I went ahead and did that this year, obtained my state license, so I'm licensed.
For the state of Virginia?
Licensed for the state of Virginia and for the city of Norfolk. And I'm also a subsidized provider, which is when someone gets assistance from the government, they pay me directly. Mm-hmm. And I am also certified in all the trainings that is necessary for childcare. So I got everything. So even though I didn't have to have my license, I got my state license because I want to get into government contracts.
Dope.
Right. So I got a question for you. Actually, does that allow you to does it affect just your business or just your personal, right? So let's say you wanted to bring on more children, so that maybe you meet more personnel, right? Would they have to get these certs and these classes or whatever also, or would you be able to say, would you be the umbrella for it all?
I would pretty much be the umbrella for as far as the business aspect goes overall. I can hire people to work under me, and I just have to make sure they're certified in CPR, like the basics. You know, CPR, certain hours of training they need to do online that are free courses offered through the Department of Social Services, stuff for safety and awareness, little things like that. And typically I would pay for that for them if there was a charge for the CPR. It's $150. Right. So, and that's for AED,
and that's dope. That's a tax write-off. Right.
Yeah, anything that
No, that's
actually dope. Getting my business license, speaking of, if anybody didn't know, they made me pay back the taxes for my business license for the past 3 years that I've been in business.
Wow.
So, in order for me to get my business license. So it's not that it wasn't required to have my business license in this industry because it was in home.
Right.
I definitely should have got it for other reasons.
So they made you go back and report all that revenue and income?
Yeah. I had to give them my taxes. I had to give them any any type of furniture or equipment that I would use technologically within my business. Because typically you can't start a business from your home unless you're using it as an office.
Right.
Or, I'm actually offering services within my home.
Right.
And I have customers here. So, I get a little bit of, it's a little different for childcare.
And they're going to get theirs, of course.
Right? Oh, yeah, for sure. So
they're going to make sure.
It's $50 a year in Norfolk. Right. And then your taxes is dependent on how much money you spent.
Right. So last time you was here, this was very early on in our first season in our podcast altogether. we were still trying to learn the ropes and get a grasp on things. Nowadays, we every guest we ask them what their figuring shit out moment was, like an epiphany, something crazy happened in their life, they woke up to something or whatever. So here we are. What is your figuring shit out moment, if you have one you like to share?
I probably have a million because, like I said, I done lived like 7 lives already. But I would say the most recent, and it wasn't so much of like in a moment of figuring it out. It took me a while over time where I was like, okay, had to accept certain things,
right,
so that I can, you know, be at peace with, I guess you would say, me being away from my family.
Okay.
I say I being away from my family, my entire family. I'm like, am I where I'm supposed to be?
Right.
Or am I supposed to be by my family? You got to think about what is going to bring you peace. And my figuring out moment was, you know, am I going to be more happy away from my family? Not that I'm happy away from them, but doing what I want to do, building my business, you know, reaching my goals. It's harder when you got a whole bunch of people that's not rowing the boat in the same direction.
Oh yeah, no,
you know,
facts. When you,
everybody want to go on different boats, different directions, but they want everybody to help them sail.
Out there by yourself rowing, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, well, let me go to the calm waters over here. To me, they felt calm waters, you know.
So
and
okay, so
yeah, my figuring out moment was where I would be most successful, actually, and it doesn't have to be around the ones that you grew with, you know, the ones that you love. There could be strangers that you're venturing off into different things with.
Right.
Yeah.
Finding a tribe. That's what's up.
Become friends, family, build your own family.
So,
thanks.
Are there any new struggles in the daycare world, like with child education or getting courses or developing courses? Like, can you talk more about what you provide at your daycare there?
So right now, I see that a lot of like new mothers, newborns, they're needing placement, and because I can't have more than 4 kids at a time, I'll just take 3 to 4 newborns, maybe 1 toddler and 3 newborns.
Okay.
And that's enough for me to balance. And then you were saying if I wanted to have more kids, would I hire more people? With in-home care, I could actually make enough money to take care of myself, my bills, and pay an assistant even just with 4 kids. Because, you know, the pay is a little bit more because it's more private care. And I always looked at, like I told y'all in the first segment, I kind of go back a little bit. I paid what I paid for my child care because I knew what type of care I wanted for my child.
Exactly, right. That's important.
And it's very, very, it's becoming more and more, parents are speaking more to me about not wanting to put their children in a bigger commercial type of environment opposed to private care. So I guess my challenge that I'm coming across is, which is why I want to do government contracts, is finding families that are going to be even used to that transition.
Right.
From just trusting their family to going more commercial with a bigger daycare, and then public school. A lot of people are straying away from that, and the cost is more,
right,
you know, to get that private care. So the transition alone is hard.
Right.
I don't know if that's messing up the sound, but it's just hard for people to feel comfortable. That's my biggest struggle right now. So I think that as I'm building and as I'm taking the additional steps to additional trainings that would make more parents feel more comfortable, that aren't required by law, you know what I'm saying? They're just there for us to learn more.
Right.
I think the more that I obtain, the more I invest in myself, the more other people that get to know me and on my mission, they'll be like, hey, I can really trust you with my kid, or hey, I know somebody that is looking for someone just like you.
That's
what I offer here is a family type of environment. So
that's huge.
As I transition my son from pre-K to kindergarten, I'm thinking about doing more homeschooling.
That's facts. Is it King? Aren't you doing that too? You doing homeschool with all your kids yet, or you haven't decided?
Yeah, everybody homeschool. We about to I guess send the paperwork in soon for he I think he's supposed to be in the first grade, I guess, or kindergarten or whatever. But he's probably pushing or close to a second grade level. I mean, so
that's dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is that like a program you filled out? You had to fill out, send something to the state or whatever to do that?
Kinda. So she'll probably know better, but like I think here we just got we got like to notify them and let them know that we're qualified or capable of.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
so
they won't be looking for buddy. So they won't be looking for buddy. Yeah. When school started, they were like, this dude is this age. He's not here. Why not? Right. So.
Right. Because everyone is accounted for. You know, if you got a social birth certificate, you know, people keep up with you. Right. You know. So they're just going to be making sure the child is getting their education. And as far as like homeschooling, I remember when I was in middle school, when my mom had a babysitter for us that would watch us till she got off of work. And she homeschooled her children. And I remember from back then, I used to pay attention to what she did. And it was never where she was required to have a teaching degree.
Right.
She just had to be able to provide the curriculum that the school board, you know, accepted as, you know, credible.
Standard.
Yeah.
And then you can add on to that, right? You don't have to keep that as a minimum.
And that's you got to check their boxes. Like.
Right. There's so many different types of educational institutions, or I see people creating schools now. I think it's awesome because people are becoming more aware that within the public school system, they're allowing certain things in the schools that parents may not be okay with.
Right.
Taking out things from the schools that people were used to, that had some type of structure.
Right. I remember the Common Core.
Kind of went crazy.
The Common Core stuff kind of threw everybody for a loop because it was like we learned math a certain way and it worked, and then they just changed everything, and it was Common Core, and then it was this new way. I don't know if it was better or worse, but it was confusing for a lot of people. So that was one of the things.
Common Core? I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, it was,
Common Core?
Yeah, it's like a different type of, like, you know how they taught us math a certain way when we were in school, and then, I don't know, I think this might have been 10, 15 years ago, where they just, the whole country, the whole Department of Education changed to a different system for math, like totally different than what we were learning, what we taught.
Yeah.
And kids coming home, you know, I need help with my homework, and they're like,
confused.
I need help with this, and then, you know, our generation is like, oh yeah, this is easy, to do it like this, and they're like, nah, we can't do it like that. Teacher said do it like this.
Right, everybody was being corrected.
I'm like, bro, we got the same answer. I don't know this Common Core shit, but it's one of those things.
I learned both ways. And I always had an A in math. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know why I understood it, but I did.
Do you feel like one was better than the other? Is there a real difference, or is it just?
I think it's about the person's learning style. I think that what may be easier for somebody may not be okay for somebody else. So I kind of learned both, and I was able to see why the answer came both ways, and I was able to explain it to people. But I only did that with math. I don't know why.
Oh, that's dope.
Numeric memory.
So you said more people are starting to create private schooling. Like, I think that's super dope. When you're talking about government contracts, would that be so? Like, if you were to go, like, I guess say the military bases have a lot of daycares, right? There's like so many options for the military folk. That would be super dope. I know there's mad money in that. Would you consider, or if you were to do that, do you think that'll be some type of corporate, like you want to stay private, but then if you do that,
the direction I'm going,
because then I'm sure there might be regulations or courses, or you know you got to teach these certain things or whatever.
Right. So like you'll have people from the military, especially here in Virginia. They'll come. They're just on reserves, or they live local and they're just on reserves or the active duty, and they're just looking for something more personal. They don't want to put their child in a bigger thing. Then they will come look for me. There is a program through the city and through the state that connects with the military, and those that work one time out of the month is what I'm really shooting for, to be honest with you. I'll work 7 days a week and take off 2 to 3 months at the end of the year with the slow season when everybody's traveling to see their families.
Dope. Right.
Like I whatever's gonna not be so hard on me because I don't have staff, because I don't have a commercial business, because it is the way that I'm generating income, because I'm already in the system and know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to pay me what somebody would get paid working with 20 children. And to be honest with you, that's the teachers don't have the patience to deal with that many children, even with 2 assistants. You know, smaller classroom sizes is what's necessary. I mean, practically paying someone to raise your child 8 to 10 hours out of the day, sometimes 12, while you're working.
No, that's real.
And
hold on. Sorry, not hold on, but that point is
hold
crazy.
Up, wait a minute.
Like, no, that point is crazy. Like, they actually, so Frank and I probably, you know, and a lot of people right now have been working remote now and before, right? And we've not been accustomed to it, but we've, you know, been accustomed to it, right? But some people are now getting accustomed to it. They actually but they got a whole world to put their kids in a building. Let somebody else raise their kids for a certain amount of hours, right? While they went to work, fair. Then, but they didn't. No one said, "Hey, teach your kids something when you get home," right? Like, there's a lot of people who just came home, made dinner with the kids, maybe played with the kids, but they never sat down and learned with the kid or taught with the kid, right? Or I don't know, some of that stuff. But it was a whole goddamn generation of people just
several generations.
But now sitting there watching the kids. Literally.
I remember telling somebody I was in a class and my teacher was drinking Robitussin in the middle of the day, and I'm like, now I'm grown now. I'm like, bro, that ain't right. You know what I mean? But then you mentioned you mentioned learning styles, right? So now that it's changing, I want to know how many schools have been created, and I kind of see why though. Like, she just nuts out there.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff that I incorporate in my daycares, especially with the toddlers, and it works with newborns. I mean, it's just what's the term they're calling it? Gentle parenting, where you know they meditate with the babies. They play certain music to calm them down.
That's dope.
They just constantly offering some type of therapy, constantly just listening to their emotions and then directing them to a different thing to do, because that's all the kids are. It's just like nonstop. You got to have them on a schedule, literally from the moment they walk in the door. Every hour, this hour they're gonna play. Well, you know, they lose their train of thought within 5 minutes, so you do blocks here and you do kinetic sand here, and then we just rotate within like a 30-minute period. And when they're just getting tired of it, all right, let's go outside and run around for 30 minutes. It's just constantly, oh, you guys are hot. Let's sit down and have a snack time. We're going to show them how to clean up, wash their hands.
Structure and repetition, right? Yeah.
Oh, my God, they love it. Like, the kids don't want to leave when their parents come to the door. And it's like the parents got to sit down and hang out with me for a little bit.
That's the opposite of public school,
we got to ease them out.
To run out of there.
Right.
And we gotta kind of ease the kids out together. Sometimes I gotta walk them out with them, and Zay gotta help me and say, "All right, guys, see you tomorrow." Then I gotta deal with him being sad because everybody gone.
Right.
But
that's dope. That's dope. So
yeah.
Are you new in town or need a fresh cut on the fly? Let me show you a convenient way to hire a mobile hair care pro now. Simply download the Cuddy app from the App Store. Create a profile and have access to professional mobile barbers and stylists in your area. The Cuddy app allows you to browse for hair care professionals 24/7. View their profile and share your locations to find the nearest one. Once you've found the perfect pro with just a click of a button, have your professional meet you in a matter of minutes. This means no more worrying about running late, waiting for the next chair to open, or missing your appointment completely. Reclaim your valuable time and put your mind at ease knowing your hair care pro is on the way. Cuddy app is the only place to hire a hair care pro whenever you are ready, wherever you are. Cuddy app. Join the revolution today.
Yeah.
How is the business side of things, right? Like, is being privatized and having the program that you have, is it doing well? Is there a struggle there getting? I imagine it's not a struggle getting kids, right? Because everybody needs childcare.
No, it is. It is.
Oh, is it?
It's a struggle because, like I said, the private care is something that people are slowly trying to transition into.
Mm-hmm.
They're not used to it. They don't know that social services will pay, just like they will pay for them to go to daycare. Like,
I didn't know that.
it's just, oh yeah,
Okay.
every city. That's why I said, okay, so a subsidized provider is someone that accepts subsidy, which is a form of payment from the government.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like assistance, helping them. Like if somebody was to apply for assistance for their water bill or their gas bill or like the energy saving program, it's the same thing. They're applying for child care assistance so that they could go to work or school. And then if they get approved, it's separate from food stamps and Medicaid. You apply at the same time, but you get two separate workers.
Right. Okay.
The child protective services, excuse me, not child protective, not CPS, DSS, they will provide you with the information that you need to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
You provide them with the child care number, the registration number, and then they just pay me directly. They send you a card just like a food stamp card, and they swipe them in and out. So I find it easier for me to get payments being a subsidized provider.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I have my license, I'm just going to shoot for some military people on the weekends as well.
No.
So financially, it's been up and down. Slow season, holiday season. Kind of need to have a partner to,
right.
hold you down during that time. So, I currently am in a relationship, but, definitely being married is it's a whole lot different because you guys are really like working together and holding down the household. When you're boyfriend, girlfriend, those responsibilities aren't taken into place. So sometimes I gotta go and bartend during the slow season.
Right.
Until I can get all my ducks in a row, all my, additional trainings that may help me get out there more.
Certs and licenses,
yeah.
That's dope. That's definitely
dope. I have all of those basics. I have all of the ones that require me to pass state laws.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to get additional things like autism training. I want to get my medication administration cert, like stuff like that. So if I get a sick child or if I get an autistic child, it's private care. So they'll still be taken care of more privately than they would if they was to go to a public school.
And would getting those accolades, would those allow you to earn more, or I don't want to say demand more, but get more? Because those are specialized skills, right? You can't just...
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the DSS also provides the payment for that as well. So if you have a special needs child, and most would prefer a private setting as well, they pay, let's say, I know in Norfolk, level 1, they're paying $55 a day, and level 2, they're paying $71 a day.
Okay.
So for special needs, it would be, I believe, for level 1, $100 a day. And
we lost video.
Sorry.
Oh, you got a call? Probably got a call coming in.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for special needs level 2, you would get $125 a day. I apologize about that.
No, you straight. Cool. That's what's up. So it looks like business is doing good. Things
if I make it to my 5th year, everything will be great. They say make it to your 5th year, and you're doing something right.
That's what's up. You're on the 3rd, right? So just 2 more. I think you're on the way.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I would like to make at least I'm shooting for about $80,000 a year.
No, that's dope.
Okay, nice goal. Yeah, at least you got a goal too.
Yes.
Is this something you want to show other women how to do, or other people how to do? Like,
yes, I was thinking about doing some kind of ebook or something.
Yeah. That's right.
A lot of people are asking me without asking me.
Do that. Put that together. Sell that. Put it on the website or something.
Yeah. It's a lot of details and a lot of steps and a lot of patience. Just got to comb through everything and do your due diligence because that's what everything is about. Is paperwork, and that will help you go a long way.
Facts. So, let's talk about education, right? Like, we all know educating the kids, this new generation, they got a lot of shit going on. What is different about, or what is different about what you teach your
The public
program
schools,
as opposed
private
to
schools.
right, public schools, private schools, and what do you feel is important for kids these days, especially at this younger generation, to learn about or to be taught, as opposed to what public schools is doing?
Well, I think there's way too much freedom in public schools. I noticed that a lot of the kids that may come by, that I may see here and there, or even just, visitors, friends of friends, being in parties and seeing how kids act, hearing stories even, it's just, it's scary, the things that kids are exposed to. And I think in school, a lot of it is exposed to them. In public school, they don't just teach the basics of science, math, history,
English.
Whether they're getting the right science, math, history, according to the education system, the education board. Those are the basics, right? So we definitely want to know the basics. But aside from that, what I strive to teach my son anyways, and any children that are at his age group and going up, is more than just the basics at school, is the survival outside and what we need to prepare for. And just being overall more prepared before they turn 18, just as a community, being accountable for what we're teaching these kids, not just our own children, not just the children that we birth, not just our friends' kids, just any child that you see may be, displaying the wrong behaviors, you correct them, you talk to them, you don't discipline them, and I think in school they're molding a different view for these kids than we would like. That we really are. I was saying we because I'm not trying to single people out, because I know what I'm capable to do. I say we, right?
I mean, for me, like speaking for myself, like my son's about to be in middle school, and then right after that high school. Like, and I'm a little bit somewhat nervous of. We all know high schools, kids can be cruel. Not even in high schools, middle school, elementary school. But it's like when you put your child in a public school, they are exposed to what other kids are exposed to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's basically like you take everybody's household, right? You have different households, and you take them on and you put them in one building, and it's like several hundred households intermingled in the same building. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of exposure. It could be good exposure. It could be bad exposure. It could be toxic exposure. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is that some of the things that concerns are bringing to you, as opposed when it comes to like the public school system? Because like there's things there, and
let me put it like this. I got a lot of mommies that come to me and call me for advice about their kids, where they feel that my place is the safest. They ask my opinions and my advice, and I take that to my heart. Like I feel like that they respect my views, and that is their fears. That is what they're expressing to me. If their kids have been exposed to anything, or they feel like they're acting a certain way since putting them in public school, they're like, hey, can I, I got my girlfriend saying, Shanise, can I enroll the baby? They about to be going to kindergarten, and I'm like, okay, well, now I got to get on the ball even faster to homeschool.
Right.
Not just my son, but my homegirl's children as well. And the thing is that with private care, the Department of Social Services won't cover private care. I know I said they'll cover my private care, but to them, it's the language. The private care I offer is in-home. It's a family day home, in-home family day home for child care. But to them, it's still considered child care in a private setting. I know it sounds a little confusing, but they will pay for up to the age of 4, pretty much. After age 4 going into kindergarten, they don't pay for that.
Right, because they want to push them to the public school.
Correct. So that's why I went ahead to get my license as well, because I know that without having a consistent flow of income, I'm not going to be able to open a bigger school. I'm not going to be able to offer homeschooling for my friends that fear putting their children in public school. You know, I'm the only one really working my way into that direction. So I think people are becoming more fearful, and I think that's pushing me more to want to do it and create. Because now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm, you know, reaching out to the government and looking for grants and funding and all this stuff for a bigger building in the future, I see more people open up schools. They got online schools. You know, they have funding for these schools as well. I got to look more into that.
No, that's dope. That's important. It makes me want to think about it, right? Because it's like, we know, right? Public school is kind of crazy right now, and people are scared for it. They're fearful for that. They don't want to put them in there. They don't want them to get indoctrinated or just become toxic people or start to develop certain things.
With the you know, just I have to throw this in there, but the LGBT community, and how, to be honest, how everything is changing so quickly in the public system, and it's changing in front of our children. And I mean, my son wants to copy what I'm doing now in my home, and that's just me rapping or me doing yoga. Imagine now they're seeing all this other stuff with it's okay for kids to dress up like, or boys to dress up like girls, and you know, they have people on talk shows and people talking to children.
Right.
And I just learned, did you know that at Ocean Lakes High School they have a support system for those high school students that are within that community?
Right. Like a club or something, like an after school club or something?
Like, no, not a club. Like a whole counseling. Like, they're supposed to be offering counseling and therapy to them, like a support group.
So for those who believe, right? So those who believe, who what's the word I'm looking for? Identify with those type of ideologies. You know what I mean? Like, hey, so be it. That's the problem. Isn't that the marginalized have support? It's the enforcement of that behavior for others to accept it.
Right.
Right. So I don't really care about them getting help. Don't jump if you ain't got to, you know?
Not them getting help, but it's more like, I said, did you know that there was a support group?
I wouldn't be surprised though, because again,
I think it's dope that anybody that's going through something has a support group, although without having to inform the parents, like that they're doing this at the school.
There was something wasn't there something just signed?
Those people again who like those kind of, they think the government thinks they own the kids. The government thinks the kids are theirs.
When the state of Virginia, they do own the kids until you go get custody.
That should be crazy.
You hear that, King?
When someone just signed,
like, yeah, right.
Something was just signed. There was a bill passed, I think today, yesterday, last week, whatever. I forget the state. That might have been Washington. I don't know. That they were just like, kids can't transition without the knowledge of their parents. And
California,
yeah, and they just sign it, and it's like boom,
Wow.
Go. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like, okay, who's paying for that? Is the state paying for that? Taxpayers paying for that? Why are we not informing the parents? Why are we cutting the parents out?
But no one cares about human trafficking, huh? Because they going down there to get the meat cut off. They can get their whole body missing.
No,
right. Everything about them, blood and all.
Yeah, so these are grave concerns that everybody have. You know what I'm saying? I like I said, I have my son's about to go to high school. I have concerns about it. It's like there's things that I teach them. We teach them in our households, right? We as parents, we try to protect our children. We try to teach them a certain way. There may be things in the world that we kind of hide from them, so to speak, to protect them or whatever. But it's like, boom, now you put them in, like I was saying, you put them in a public school, and then they're in a mix with hundreds of different households, with different teachings, different beliefs, whatever.
Right.
And it's like the public schools necessarily don't stick to the curriculum, right? They like almost promote certain things over others, right?
Well, they display the curriculum because they have to have it displayed in some way, shape, or form, whether a binder of some sort, and then they do what they do, but they give them the test, and it's like you pass it or you fail. I got a girlfriend that has a son. He's 16, and he's been going to Virginia Beach schools, and she just moved to Norfolk. She's like, I don't want to put my son in Norfolk school, in high school. Like, she's had him in Virginia Beach all this time, and he's like, Mom, chill. He's like, Mom, chill. He's soft. This boy ain't soft. But, he's a good boy, and she doesn't want to have him put in that situation. Right? Because they're from Brooklyn. So, he's been doing really good. Right? And they've been really, like, trying to stay out of trouble. And her daughters as well. Her daughters are in middle school. She's having to move them over, and she's like, Shanise, I just want, when you starting your homeschool. I'm like, those are big girls.
It's funny. Everybody asking you for the solution. Like, start your school, so I'll be the first one to sign them up, put them in there. That's crucial.
I get it though, because but Frank, so homeschooling for us is like, it's twofold though. Like, we kind of don't want to diminish the social aspect of it, right? But the social aspect can be replenished, right? Because the social that he getting in school is, like you saying, it's gonna be a melting pot of people. Everybody's not gonna treat them the way you treat them in the house, and then you got to deal with some of that. But you have to deal with some of that. You gotta go through some of that.
True.
For sure.
But you also don't want to let that mold. You know what I mean? The kids, like,
I just think it's too much going on in the world, though. Like, we already got to do our best to protect our children. Like, my son is exposed to plenty of social situations.
Way more, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, man, his conversation still be blowing me away. I'm like, I really need to get this kid's IQ tested, because he be testing me. And I'm like,
I know. Those important philosophical questions.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I wrote something about, he said, Mommy, they're gonna fall off. I said, fall off of what? Who? He said, the people. I said, from what? He said, the earth. They're on the edge. I said, oh Lord, my son is a flat earther.
That is funny.
No, I tell him, I said, baby, he'll get frustrated with doing something. I'm like, let me help you. Right. Let me teach you. No, you can't teach me. I said, you gotta let me teach you. Who else is gonna teach you? I'm the only one here. Right. He's like, Jesus taught me. I said, what? No. God taught you. I had to hit him with something quick. He was like, hold up, wait a minute. Who's Jesus then? Who Jesus then?
Right.
And I'm like, okay. He goes to a Christian academy right now. I don't want to have him. He's going to start saying some stuff, but I tell him, look, let me tell you something. That's his son. We his children. God's our father, okay? That's it. He's like, okay, Ma, so God right here, like, he goes into deep conversation and wanting to know, like, actual science. And,
that's dope.
That's
the perfect age.
Like, just pulling back in. And the reason why I even brought this community up, I know a lot of people in this community. And it's been scaring me lately. I ain't gonna front. Just because I run a daycare, just because I'm doing stuff by the books and everything like that, I'm still a mother out here, and my son is still gonna be out here in this world. And I still, like, I gotta be an influence of some sort to these children that are around me, that gravitate to me.
Fact.
I have a niece, born a niece, never went through the transition fully. And what I say fully, in her mind, she has transitioned into a boy. And I'm like, it's hard to talk about this, but it's very important to me because I love this baby. This is my baby, she's 18 years old now, and I wasn't allowed to be a part of her life. That's my brother's oldest daughter. And you know, since I wasn't allowed to be a part of her life, her mother raised her, you know, my brother wasn't here, I couldn't force that relationship.
Right.
But now that she's 18, she's reaching out to me, coming into my life, and I still refer to her as a she, trying to respect her in her presence by referring to her as a he, and trying to build a relationship with this young person that wasn't, I don't want to say, because to me she's still feminine, very feminine.
It's hard because like you gotta now I can tell
away.
you're trying to police your words right now, and that's part of the symptoms of that. It's like this talk to me or call me this. This is what I am, and it's like, this is how I feel.
Walking on eggshells.
You have to, in your mind, make the change that I made, right? And that's the part that I feel like
it's a force.
Right.
It's
a lot of people are being. A lot of people can't just do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I made this change for me, but now I need everybody else in my vicinity.
7 billion people.
Right. All of y'all address me this way.
Whether I tried my hardest.
Right.
To get my words together in front of my baby, because I don't even know, say she or he, I say my baby. I say my baby, listen to me. My baby, listen to me. My son comes in the kitchen. He calls her Ronnie. That's her boy name. And he says, Ronnie, I'm going to call you Ronnie because you want to be called Ronnie. And he said, she. And she said, no, he. He said, no, she. My son's 5 years old. And, you know, at first we had to go over the talk with the name. And he was like, why we got to call her Ronnie? Because that's the name she wants. I'm just going to respect that. Okay, so I could change my name too. I said, yeah, what you want me to call you? You know?
Easy influence.
Just that easy.
Right. You know, so when he comes and has this little quarrel or debate with her, they're going back and forth. And I said, baby, she's like, how am I going to explain this to him? I said, you don't. You don't explain it to him. It's not for him to know.
Right.
You know, all he said, but you're a girl and I'm a boy and mommy's a girl and I'm a boy and you're a girl. And she's like, no, I'm a boy. And he's like, mommy, and walks out the kitchen.
Right.
Okay. So I have to have this conversation with my son. Like, you right. Just, she wants to be called a boy. I'm not arguing with her. Let me get a little bit more talks in with her. I can't just bash her like this is the cold truth. I may ease my way in there because people are sensitive.
And
people are sensitive.
It's crazy. This is the thing, careful. Right? Like, there's different levels of awareness and maturity, right? Like, you're talking about your son who is 5, right? And then you have an 18-year-old niece. And it's like, at one point, well, like, my thing is, like, why go back and forth with a 5-year-old? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't, why, there shouldn't be a disagreement there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not wrong, you know?
Right.
So, why go back and forth?
Oh, no, the conversation went into science.
Oh.
I said, I tried to cut the conversation short, and I was like, there's no need to explain it to him. He just wants to know the science of things. Right. And she goes, oh, well.
Okay.
The science, and she went, I said, we're not doing this.
Oh, so that was another avenue of debate. Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And I understand this. I came to this point where I was like, look, baby, I need you to understand something. It don't matter what your sexuality is. I don't even want to teach my child adult, straight content.
Let them be kids, right? Let them be kids.
They don't need, I even told and I guess I got her to thinking, because I was like, what did I tell you when you were younger? You could be whatever you want to be in the world. You could be whoever you want to be. Do whatever you want to do. But the day you start fucking, I'm going to fuck you up. Excuse my language. You can cut that out. Beat me out. I don't know what else to put it like, because once you enter into that part that takes over your life, that's flesh. That's flesh. And if you're not ready for that, like, you got to get yourself sharp first before you go into this world trying to, you know, I know that most men start earlier than females and some girls be early too, but, you know, it's just,
there's still a time for kids to be
children. We try to push,
we
try to, like, they're being exposed to too much right now.
Way too much. Even
at
more
the age of 4 and 5, it's crazy. And I think that public school has a lot to do with it, a lot of contribution to. I think more in a private setting, it's more amongst family and the community, and we're gonna be like, hold up, you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be corrected. People need to be corrected. You know,
Thanks.
so like when you see a kid doing something wrong, there's a kid down the street throwing rocks at a house. Hey, what you doing?
Right.
You don't do that. You don't just say, oh, that ain't my kid, that ain't my house, I ain't worried about it.
Yeah.
No, we have to do this as a collective, because it's not about if you're gay. It's not about, excuse me, if you're transgender. It's not about if you're black. It's not about if you're white. It's not about if you're. What it is it's a past and a future and a present, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we gotta mold our children for the future. We could keep bickering and arguing about everything right now, or we can make a change about it, because it's just going to get worse. And everybody is just, we just need to come together.
Right.
And raise our children
right. Understand each other, right? And stop trying to force beliefs onto other people. Like, I'll put it this way, like, no problem with trans people, right? It's just the vitriol that they place on everyone else to treat them a certain way, not even treat them, to use language differently, right? We should have the rights and freedoms to not use that language. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't put that on me. If I don't see you in this way, why should you force me to call you this? You know, or use pronouns or alter my reality through language so you can feel good about yourself. Meanwhile, that makes me feel like, you know, I'm being oppressed or whatever.
I mean, I respect my neighbors, but I ain't gonna kick it with them. I don't need to have daily conversations with them. You know, just respect your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Just any way that you would see somebody out in public. I'm not gonna force my neighbors to talk to me.
Right.
I'm not gonna force them to be my friend and do stuff for me. You know, no, you don't do that. And I think that you should treat everybody like that. You know, you just deal with people as far as, you know, what's the saying? As far as you could throw.
Right. As far as you trust them, as far as you could throw. Are you looking for a media agency that covers all the creative tasks that make a business successful? Lucid Perspective produces elegant, high-resolution graphics and logos, high-definition and 4K video, complete with treatment concepts and innovative editing. Lucid Perspective provides photography services such as fashion, advertisements, product or service, and aerial photography. We also help businesses build their brands from the ground up with complete campaigns that will make your business attractive to your target audience. We can bring your brand to the masses with our effective and strategic marketing campaigns to include sales funnels, eye-catching advertisements, breakthrough digital marketing through social media, and other digital avenues. Visit lucidperspective.com today. But yeah, this is I feel like this needs to be talked about. There's a lot of parents I know. I've had private conversations with people. It's one of those things that is a huge concern for a lot of people, a lot of parents, and it's almost like, okay, the way the current system is, a lot of people depend on the school system because they can't afford daycare, they can't afford private schools, they have to work, their kids need to be somewhere during the day. The state got this public school system readily available, like put them in school. And then when you put them in there, then they get all this bombardment of different stuff and different information. It's like, then you get your kid back and you don't even recognize them anymore. You know what I'm saying?
So these public schools are of course, to get started, they have funding from somewhere. You know, so if the right research is done, the right grants, the right funding, the right investors, the right supporters, I think that we'll be able to build a school, be able to build a different type of public school. Dope. You know, that offers for the community. I don't know, because the public school system is like they all working together. They're all
it's funded.
owners.
Yeah, it's state funded.
Right.
But they're all privately owned.
Oh, true.
There is somebody that runs them. You know.
Yep.
If that's the only schooling that's offered for free, each teacher in these classrooms can create their own curriculum off of the main curriculum, their own teaching ways.
True.
Even in the public schools, they have their own teaching ways, as long as they're teaching what they're supposed to be teaching.
So so here at Figuring Shit Out, right, we like to talk about problems, you know, discuss them, and then try to come up with solutions. I don't know the solution. If there was a solution that you could provide, or a way to better understand the problem, like, is there something on your mind, a solution that fits everybody, every person of every belief, every creed. What is the solution? You know what I'm saying?
Bartering.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest, if everybody's problem is financial,
No,
you
that's
know,
real. That's real. That's how they get you, though. That's how they get you to become slaves to the system, right? Like you put you in survival mode, where your number one priority is surviving, feeding your family, keeping a roof over your head. You can't think about nothing else. You're really a slave to the system. You're really oppressed, and you really can't think outside the box. You're just thinking about paying bills and putting food on the table. So that's true.
It ties into personal responsibility, Frank. God dang on, if you dig deep and have something of worth to provide to somebody else, right now we can get to bartering. And if everybody got something to provide somebody else, right, we're really rocking and rolling.
No, that's true. That's real.
She froze on us.
Oh, is she? Yeah, looks like it. But her phone might have died or something.
Oh, she did say she was low.
She had the power bar.
Battery pack.
But and to be clear, for anybody watching, you know what I'm saying, this isn't LGBT hate, transphobia. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
Nobody's talking about that. Like everybody, that's another thing too. Is like when you say anything, conflictual to that belief system or to that way of life, it's automatically stamped with transphobia. You're a hateful person, you're a bigot, all this stuff. And that is not correct. You know what I'm saying? People want to live their life, raise their children with their belief system, religion, whatever, without the fear of being ostracized for having different beliefs. Right, and or forced to change language.
Forced to be way. Like you said, ostracized, you gotta go reprimanded because I feel a certain way.
Oh yeah, and that's been happening. You know what I'm saying? And people, on the real, I feel like people are getting tired of it. People are waking up to it, and people are saying no. Right? Like if you look on Twitter, there's this hashtag LGB without the T, and it's basically lesbians and gay people saying that the trans stuff has nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying?
Too far. Yeah,
right, like I'm gay, I just like men. I'm a lesbian, I just like women. Or I'm bi, I like both. And then the T's, like they're in their own world, and they're trying to separate them to where it's not LGBTQ, whatever. It's just LGB, and then the T's are in the other world.
I had a conversation today with some dude, Rizla Islam. He interviewed Flame Monroe.
Okay.
I don't know who she is, but I guess she's some big trans person. And she was kind of the same. Like, I got kids, but I'm like, I wouldn't be introducing my child or any child to this behavior until 21 at least. If they want to go, if they want to, and she made a really good point. Yeah, go ahead. She made a really good point. She was like, back in her day when she was going through it, they had made them go through hours and hours of fucking therapy. Right. To make sure that they were choosing a permanent decision. Right. They understood that. Now they're having children making a permanent decision without years of therapy.
Right. They'll be 4 or 5 years old.
Be able to cope with a decision.
Right.
Yeah. Deciding at that age that I want to be the opposite, but it's like you ain't even been this long enough. You're about to be a decision longer than you've been natural.
Right. Listen, these kids, 4, 5, 6, 7, they're not old enough to vote. They're not old enough to drink. They're not even adults in their body. Haven't been through puberty. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. To affirm these kids.
Make a permanent decision.
Right. Affirm these kids because little Johnny at 5 years old said he feels like a girl, and then take his ass to the hospital and give him all these drugs and start chopping shit off is madness. And I don't understand the adults in the room, how they are allowing this and or pushing this.
That's the thing. And
is
I
fucking
think
insanity.
He mentioned like most of those people don't have children.
I mean, they're doing it to their own kids.
How good is that?
Well,
they're doing it to their own kids, but also a lot of them don't have kids. So let's say 10 people in a room. Mm-hmm. 3 of them may have children. 7 of them don't.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No. Well, when you was Shanice, when you was gone, I was talking about the LGBT with LGBTQ LGB without
minus
the
the T.
Yeah, how they did the lesbians and gays are trying to like push away from the trans. When you're 18 plus, do whatever you want to your body at that point. Even then, I feel mentally a lot of people aren't really awoke, aware, or whatever. But still, you're an 18, you're legal. Fuck it, do what you want. Before 18, when you're a minor, that shit needs to get. That shit needs to stop. Any doctors out there performing surgeries, giving drugs, puberty blockers, that is, I feel like that's a crime against humanity, and I'm gonna say it just like that. I feel like that's. If you're a doctor, if you are a healthcare professional, I think you should know better. I think you understand in your mind, as an adult that knows about the body, that should know about psyches of the human people, right? That doing surgery to a child that is under 10 or under 18 is ridiculous. Like, they don't have life experience. They don't understand a lot of things about the world. They're very impressionable. They're very influenced by a lot of shit. So again, little Johnny is 7 years old, wants his cut off. First off, he can't consent to that. He doesn't know any better. So for somebody to take a scalpel and then perform the procedure and say, "Here you go, Johnny. Now you're Linda," right? And then
you're messing with someone's psyche before it could be fully developed.
That is criminal as fuck. I'm sorry, it's criminal.
Knowing that though, I know that this topic is very, very sensitive to people, and it's because people aren't looking at everything as a whole. Like I just like I would break it down to my niece. Mm-hmm. If you passed away, the fibers of your bones would show that you were a woman. Mm-hmm. And you can feel what you want to feel while you're here, and as long as you respect yourself, other people should respect you as well. You can't force other people to respect you, but it doesn't mean you force what your beliefs are onto them. Mm-hmm. You just respect yourself as a human being on this earth. You don't carry yourself like I'm this kind of human being. No. You don't do that, because you're just going to stress yourself out trying to get other people to understand who you are, because we all go through things. Yours is just, you're trying to identify whether you're a woman or a man. Mine could be, I'm trying to identify if I want to be with my family or alone. Right. Whatever our problems are in our life, we don't have to force that on nobody. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's like, right. We got to figure it out on our own and just keep the ones dear to us that we love. Like, I don't want nothing to happen to her because she believes in this. What are you fighting for? At the end of the day, we need to fight for family. Mm-hmm. We need to fight for those that are going to fight for us. Mm-hmm. They're going to be able to barter with us. They're going to be able to dig deeper, survive with us. What is everybody's morals? Like, where do you stand with just surviving on this earth while we're here? And we can either make it harder or we can make it easier.
Make it impossible to live in harmony, because
harmony is a good word.
We want this is the thing, and I learned this not too long ago, like maybe about 10 or so years ago. You can't control nobody else. You can't control people's perception of you, no matter what you do. You can't control how people treat you, right? You're only ever really in control of yourself, your actions, your thoughts, your choices, right? And how you deal with things. You know what I'm saying? So this whole movement of trying to control people, how they talk, how they think about you, to perceive you as a sex or as a gender that you are not physiologically, whatever, biologically. You know what I'm saying? To perceive you
scientifically.
Scientifically. Biologically. Right, this push to try to.
What was the post I made today about science? I didn't even know who that guy was.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Don't get me started on him. But
King. I posted something about it is what it is. Science is what it is, whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. And maybe he didn't even make that freaking comment, But
it sounds like him.
It did.
It's something he was
saying.
But
for real, I mean, it is what it is. Like, down to the science.
Right. Stop trying to force people to perceive you in a way. You can't control perception of from other people to yourself. That's a toxic
thing. If you're an adult and you turn if you're a woman and you turn into a man as an adult, I'm gonna call you a man if that's what you want me to call you. But you're not finna talk to me all day about it. No, we're not gonna do that. We gonna talk about what we gonna eat, or what we gonna go hang out,
Go find someone.
What we doing today?
Find someone on this earth that'll see you in that viewpoint, and then be with that person. But don't try to force nobody else who's cis or straight or whatever,
right,
to see you.
What the heck? That's another word I just learned.
I just had to say it because it fits.
Bro,
I mean, sis was sister.
They always, every time I see one of them on TV, they're making sure somebody knows about this.
Right.
It's just like,
no, look, does this make sense? I the best thing that I was able to explain to my niece, like, I kind of carry myself a little. Well, I'm older now, so I like to say that I'm more ladylike, but I used to be really hard, and growing up, I was raised roughly, so I had a lot of masculinity about me that, even my parents would say, Shanise, when you get with a guy one day, you're going to have to let them be the man. You're going to have to let them, play their part. Because I'm just so used to running shit. I'm just so used to, taking care of all the bills and taking care of my household, worried about the next thing. Yeah, all that stuff. So I had to soften myself up as I got older, and learn how to be not so independent because I was, brought up that way. Now, I'm still feminine. I like men. I have a boyfriend. Hopefully get married soon. But growing up, I was tomboyish. I was hard. A lot of people thought I was going to be gay. Honestly. They're like, oh, you're going to be the man. You're going to be the man.
Right.
I used to be like, oh, dang.
Now imagine this. So that was what, 2010, 15, 20, whatever. Imagine you as a teenager today with those qualities, with what's going on in the schools, what's going on in the media. Somebody will get in your head and be like, oh, you are a man. You need to go switch.
I would like to say that I was very strong-minded, and nobody was able to influence me. And I am thankful for that because of my mother.
Right.
I was in public school, and I was exposed. We were in that era when people were more open about their sexuality around that time. And thank God my mom was able to tell me, just be solid in who you are. You don't have to. She used to tell me, you don't need a boyfriend. You don't got a career. You don't have an education.
Think about
what you need a boyfriend for? She's like, she would literally say, you trying to be like me, working 3 jobs, struggling, taking care of 3 kids by yourself? I said, oh no, I don't care about no boyfriend. I don't care about no girlfriend. I don't care. Nope. I got my degrees. I got my mind right. I used to always make money. I handle. So nobody could come to me trying to throw some bread at me so that I can move. No. We finna. I get this money too. So how we gonna be equal? And I think that, when I approached my niece with that, I was like, look, I got all those energies. People, I didn't know how to feel. I was still learning myself as a teenager, growing into a young adult. I find women beautiful. It doesn't mean that I'm into women. Right. Learning my own body and everything like that. I still had to give myself time to grow up, experience life, know what it is to be an adult, know what it is that I like about myself. And then being able to enter into a relationship with somebody and to really understand that. There's too many kids having relationships at age 12, 13. Excuse me? That's where it messes up. Sorry. That's where it messes up.
Goddamn swings and basketball and soccer.
Exactly.
Swimming, reading. Fuck.
Yeah. No,
please. I believe that you guys, I see that you guys would be the type of men to instill the right qualities into your children. I see that. I know that. We pray for more people to be of influence, and we need that in a community.
We do.
So just going back to, it doesn't matter if you're LGBT. It doesn't matter if you're T. It doesn't matter if you're, just black, white, Puerto Rican, Indian. We need to be a group of people raising our children to not hate in the future, because we're not even going to be here.
That's real.
And our kids are the ones that are going to have to suffer. And it's just going to be all one big ball like it was before.
That's real.
It's just... That's the kind of group I want to be in. I want to be in the group that's going to raise these kids to make sure I'm not thrown in a nursing home When I turn 60,
right.
All right, I want to get the best of the best. I want to know that I instill the right things into the children that are going to be taking care of us.
Mm-hmm. No,
because that's what they're going to be doing.
That's real. Let's get these schools popping. You got me inspired. I'm about to freaking open a school, bro. We find some teachers and freaking open a private school. Figuring Shcht Out Academy coming soon.
That's right. That's right. Do it. Put a little gym in there and everything.
Right.
A garden.
All that. That's another thing. We should have learned about gardening. I would love to know how to fucking plant my own fucking food. I can't.
Yo, I just found out the machine I got to take payments, I can accept EBT on them. If I applied through the city and I had a garden, I could sell fresh produce.
Dope. Yeah, those are the things we should EBT. Know. We should be learning. You know what I'm saying? Not pronouns, but that's me. That's
a fact.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
You coming through, man.
This is dope. This is definitely
very informative conversation.
But yeah, that's what it is. This is Dope Show. Thank you so much for coming back. We will 47, episode 47, almost to the end of season 2. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, snap.
Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Don't get mad about nothing we said on here. It's all love. We are all we love everybody.
Y'all can inbox me if anything. Y'all don't gotta.
I feel like we gonna get that.
Bash me on. Y'all gotta bash me on the comments. Just hit me up.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
So reading comments.
We can talk. I love you all.
It's all good. And a debate is good, right? So there it is. All right. So peace out. You have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Peace.